What's up guys, welcome to Voicey here. This is your host, Captain Zach, and today's subreddits are r/IDontWorkHereLady and r/Today I Flipped Up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. This story's called Quick Twofer, including my son's first IDontWorkHereLady. We stopped at the department store with the exclamation point in their logo. I drove by a sign that said everything was 20% off on Saturday. He wanted to check out Halloween decorations for the house. I wanted groceries at 20% off. Their dress code seems to be black t-shirts with the logo and any pants, typically blue jeans, with a name tag for cashiers and a button-up light blue shirt and black slacks, also with a name tag for management. But I'd never paid close attention before. His son, 12 years old and about 5'2" with long hair on a boy, worn down. He was wearing black slacks and a hoodie that runs almost to his knees covered in skulls. I, 45, male, long-haired man, worn in a ponytail, wore blue jeans, untucked dark blue dress shirt, and sunglasses. We were in a random aisle when we started standing around chatting. Our cart was 2/3 full and I was just standing there, hands on the cart handle, when a short woman, presumably in her late 50s, scurried up to the kid and blurted, "Where's your bathrooms?" He is a big fan of this sub and urges me to post, and has even watched the YouTubes of bots that read these, so he knew what was happening and started smirking. And he isn't totally shy, but still looked to me to defer to me so he didn't have to answer. Even though I clearly heard her, I think that blurting questions out like that is rude without some sort of greeting. I turn my attention to her and say, "How you doing?" She now yells, "Bathrooms?" I still think she's rude AF, but think maybe it's an emergency. So I point to the far corner of the store where the restrooms are. I say, "All the way to the back corner." Normally, I would walk you over because it's not good customer service just to point. She scurries off. But, looks the kid, say it with me, "I don't work here, lady." You're probably out of earshot by now, but I said it out loud, so it counts. I'm probably going to be writing about you on the internet later. I would have loved to have made this a teachable moment about how it's rude to blurt out single words when you were looking for help, but I wasn't looking to fight that battle right then. The son told me not to bother posting this one since it's kinda boring, but I did. It was notable. It was his first. Aw, that's a cute father-son moment. I really appreciate this guy posting this. That really makes me happy. It's very important for parents to have mutual interests with their kids, and this is a good one. This story's called I Don't Work Here. Oh, what the heck? Wholesome. Let's be honest, we all know how I tend to mouth off to people in public. No, we don't. But I can be nice. And yes, I often get the truth police called on me, so today I'm going to share a now 8-hour-old experience. Preface. My cousin is a department head at a local national chain union-friendly grocery store. You may know it by the large K. So after work, yes, my work day ends at 11:45 to 12 every day, I stop by to pester him. We usually just chit-chat as he does his thing. Sometimes I walk in the back where customers don't get to access normally. After hanging out with him and doing a bit of my micro-shopping, I walk on towards the register. That's when I feel a gentle tugging on my shoulder. Normally, I go for my resting bench face look to the sudden face when people touch me. Yeah, I'm not much for unexpected contact. I turned around, half expecting someone who may end up on the end of one of my rants. However, I notice a man, maybe in his mid-30s, looking like life may have handed him a similar hand that I had been dealt. He looked solemn initially. Within a couple of minutes, I figured out he had a level of social anxiety that must have made speaking to me hard enough, let alone touching my shoulder. Here's the cast. Man, me, and employee? Excuse me, sir? Could you speak up a bit? I can't hear you. I'm hard of hearing. I wasn't trying to be rude, but my vocal tones are a bit harsh. Sorry, I need help, please. Are you okay? No. Well, what's wrong? I was in the dairy section and had my phone, then I didn't. I don't know what to do. He was quiet but spoke very quickly. We're near the soda aisle, which is only a few steps away from the dairy. It's at this point I start connecting the dots. He has a bit more than social issues. I don't know how to put it without sounding insensitive. Okay, let's go back and see if we can find it. Thank you. We walk back to the milk case since I noticed he was holding a small carton, and since it's a start. As we're looking, an employee walks up to us. Can I help you? Yeah, this man lost his phone back here. Can you go find Steve? He was just over here. Oh, he just went on lunch. Oh, crap. And he didn't invite me, but I digress. Do you know the phone number? Yes, it's Octothorpe. Here, let me dial that, if that's okay with you. Please, thank you. Sure enough, we heard the phone. He had set it down on a carton of eggs, a few feet behind us. He had a Doctor Who ringtone, the TARDIS sound effect. His eyes lit up like a kid at Christmas. The man thanked us both. He even mumbled he was going to brag on the 2 employees who saved his day. He was so happy and relieved that I didn't want to ruin his excitement by correcting him. Wow, incredibly wholesome story. I'm really glad the dude found his phone. However, I will say this, the Doctor Who thing took away from this, because Doctor Who's kinda... Anyway, moving on. This story's called, Today I followed up for thinking of moving home because of a noise that was making me crazy. A few months ago, I was laying in bed about to fall asleep when I start to hear a noise that seems to come from upstairs. The noise was like a bouncing ball falling. The ball began to fall from very high, and the noise intensified as it began to approach the ground, then stop and would come back again. The sound was soft but very close. I am someone who sleeps anywhere, anytime, in any position. I'm like Chuck Norris falling asleep, but this was crazy. A sleep deprivation torture. The sound continued for another 30 minutes and stopped. There were days when it kept going for an hour straight. Days when nothing just happened. Sometimes I heard it during the day, which was almost equally horrible because I couldn't concentrate if I was reading or watching a movie. But he appeared mostly at bedtime. This went on for over a month. One night I was very tired and decided to go to bed early at 9 p.m. And of course, there was that mother lover again. I did not think. I got out of bed, opened the apartment door, and climbed the stairs to my upstairs neighbor. So there I was, no bra, wearing a t-shirt with prehistoric spots, some pants with 3 sizes over mine, and with the classic trousers inside the socks for extra heat, with hair where any bird would proudly wear as a nest, and of course, knee-high socks of different colors and sizes because everyone has a black hole sucking socks inside the washing machine. At this point in my decaying life, I didn't even bother to put my shoes on. So there I was, climbing the stairs with nothing planned to say. As I approached the door, I could hear a lot of noises in their house. I ring the bell and a girl opens the door. Everyone in that house came to see what was going on. They were all very well dressed, as if they had come from a wedding or something and visibly lightly drunk. So there I was in the hallway explaining to a group of fancy drunk people that there was a noise like a falling bouncing ball coming from the apartment. She tells me she has housemates but the room above mine is empty. I still say that is impossible, that the noise comes almost every day and it's been a month and I'm starting to go crazy. She says she doesn't know where the noise might come from. There is nothing at home that can make a sound that I tried to mimic. Yes, I imitated a bouncy ball with different voices for a group of fancy drunk people. So there I was, thinking as we talked that none of this was going to get resolved and most likely I would have to move houses until I say, without much thought, "Wanna go see it?" So there we were, me and 8 other fancy drunk people in my small room quietly waiting for the noise to appear. And of course, nothing happened. I apologized to everyone. I took the fancy drunk people to the door and went to bed to spoon with my shame and idiocy. This was last week. Today, a friend came here for the afternoon. While we were talking, the wild noise appeared. I was hysterical. "Are you hearing this?" "Yeah? I can no longer with this noise. I think I'll have to move houses." "It comes from your warmer." So my heater has 2 buttons. One to turn it on and one to change the temperature. And it seems that when the heater is off and the temperature button is in heat mode, it makes a weird noise that looks like a bouncing ball, and the echo of the house sounds like it comes from upstairs. Okay, yes, this story is funny and all, but one thing I'm confused about is, why is this noise just now happening? Like, why didn't it make the sound before? Because if it's making a sound it didn't initially make, usually that means there's something wrong with it? I'm confused. Alright, now this story's called Today I fridged up by unintentionally dosing an entire Christmas party with drugs. This episode of TIFU occurred a few years back when I was doing my undergraduate studies. The background: I attended a state school in a region that has a reputation for growing some of the finest pot in the world. Unlike other schools that may have had a party reputation, when I mentioned I was going to X State University, most of my friends and family had understood it meant I was a stoner hippie dude. Additionally, during these first few years of living away from my parents, I decided to take upon the hobby of baking and would frequently make cookies, cakes, cinnamon rolls, sourdough, and the like. As you can imagine, this also means I would experiment with edibles and actually become really proficient in the production of high-quality pot pastries. The setup. Now, Christmas time came around and the club that I was part of decided to throw a huge white elephant party. The club had frequent non-club related activity parties, which obviously included booze and marijuana, all in good nature. And so for our white elephant party, I wanted to bring something novel, something that had a little personal style to it. That's when I decided to make edibles as a gift. I proceeded to make a total of 96 of the dankiest Christmas sugar cookies ever made. I went all out. I used those typical Christmas cookie cutters of bells and trees and snowmen and had multiple colors of frosting and sprinkles to top it all off. Now, as I mentioned before, I had become quite good at baking edibles. My pastries always packed a stony punch, and rarely, if ever, had any trace tastes of weed. Adding the super sweet frosting only masked the taste further, so these cookies were 100% undetectable. The fluff up. The day of the party rolls around and I had prepared the most immaculate edibles ever known to man. Hell, I could have probably sold each cookie for at least $10, and I would have made some nice cash. But instead, I wrapped everything up and headed out. My plan was to submit 48 cookies, all nicely wrapped up and hidden for the white elephant. When a person chose my gift, I would then go out to my car and grab the other 48 to pass around the party. That way, the person who received the gift wouldn't feel obligated to share and could have a nice little holiday break stash for home. As you can imagine, this plan was poorly designed, and even more poorly executed. I may have been a little high. The party started off great, easily over 75 people. We had kegs and cider, music, and activities. Ugly sweaters were abundant, and a hidden hanging mistletoe made things interesting. About 50 people brought gifts, so we were in for a long white elephant. About halfway into the gift exchange, while Person A was opening her gift, Person B began to head in the direction of my cookies and picked up the wrapping. I took the hint and quickly ran outside to my car. I safely retrieved the remaining cookies, began to head back in, but of course, a few bros were outside taking a cig break and passed around the pipe. They offered me a hit and I couldn't turn it down. Took a few puffs, showed them the beautiful abundance of THC-infused cookies I was holding and headed inside. The result? I walked through the door, hand filled with my party favors and a big crap-eating grin on my face. The grin quickly transformed into a confused face. That's because I walked in and saw the exact specific wrapping paper I had used for my gift all littered around the living room floor. But no plate and no cookies were to be found. I quickly scanned the room and saw it on the table, a completely empty plate. Apparently, for the 5.5 minutes that I was gone, Person B opened up the gift, everyone cheered, and she passed it around the room. Yes, all 48 cookies were devoured, and people literally thought they were just harmless, sober Christmas cookies. I quickly announced to the party what happened and offered Person B the cookies I was holding, but then she passed around this plate too. For some reason, not everyone heard this announcement, and within minutes, another plate devoured. Overall, most people got the idea and knew what was up, but more than a handful walked up to me very concerned, asking if it was true. They couldn't even taste it and had no idea, and now they were freaking out. One dude even said he was trying to become a cop and this could ruin his entire future. I still feel pretty bad for that guy. By like 8:30 p.m., 75% of the party was couch locked, and I decided to head out early. I had a pretty epic reputation after that one. Okay. That's ridiculous. Oh gosh. When you take edibles, Oh, okay. If you take a lot of edibles, there's no turning back. There's absolutely nothing you can do. You're just kind of done. You just have to wait for them to kick in, and then you just gotta sit through that hours and hours and hours of and you can't sleep it off either. You go to sleep and you wake up still messed up. Yeah, that's scary as heck. This story's called "Today I Flipped Up by Asking Out the Wrong Girl." Not today, happened over the course of the last few weeks. I met the best girl in my class at college. Sweet, funny, intellectual, confident, gorgeous. But she had kinda a night and day personality. Like in class, she'd be bubbly and affectionate, but sometimes I'd bump into her on campus, then she'd be really standoffish like we didn't even know each other. A couple of times, I approached her outside of class and our conversations were really weird. Like once she started talking about how she was a history major, and I was like, "Oh, you're a history major too?" And she said, yeah, I just said that." And I figured she was double majoring with my department where I met her and history. Once I saw her in class and we had a great conversation about a concert coming to campus, and I saw her later and I said, "Hey, you still going to that concert?" And she looked baffled and she was like, "No, wait, what?" She was on the water polo team, so to impress her I learned some water polo lingo and tried using it in conversation with her, and she was totally uninterested. Sometimes she'd have the best sense of humor and other times her humor was bizarre and inappropriate. Sometimes she'd be really up to date on current events, other times you wouldn't even know she lived in this country. Sometimes she was super supportive of her friends, other times she was so judgmental about them behind their back. And most importantly, sometimes she was so happy to see me, other times she just seemed creeped out. I couldn't tell what I was doing to set off the dark side of her personality. But finally, I just decided one day after all this, hot then cold, I had to shoot my shot. She was wearing this stunning dress, the kind of thing I didn't think she'd ever wear. I figured she just dressed conservatively because I usually saw her in class, and this was a glance of who she was in her personal life. I spotted her by a cafeteria and walked up and said, "Hey, I was hoping I'd run into you. Do you want to go out with me on Friday? To the soccer game, maybe?" And she said, "Okay, sure, you seem cute. You're OP, right?" When I was thinking, we've been in a class together over a month and she still isn't sure of my first name? Did I misread her interest in me? She asked me to add her on Instagram and I explained I don't really use social media, but I could give her my number. I did, and she texted me, "Hi, it's Monica." So I'd have her number. Great, I scored a date. I'm walking away and realize, wait, Monica? I'm so sure she told me her name was Melissa. I started to get a sick feeling by that point and I googled her name and found her Instagram and saw her post with her sister. Monica and Melissa are identical twins. I'd been running into poor Monica thinking it was Melissa and approaching her like we were buddies, when I was actually a complete stranger to her. Her standoffishness and being selectively uncomfortable around me finally started to make sense. But I had a problem. I liked Melissa a lot better than Monica. We had more similar interests and got along way better. So I canceled the date with Monica and went into class ready to ask out Melissa. I explained, and once we got over the initial awkwardness of having asked out her sister, things were good. We had a date scheduled. Then I blurt this out. "Yeah, what a relief, cause you're so much better than her to be around." Q, what was that supposed to mean? And, "My sister is one of the best people on the planet to be around." And, "You're a poop shoot, and don't call me." Oh no, poor dude, he was in the home stretch, no! Alright. Tragedy aside, I'm interested in knowing, any cool twin stories you guys might have in the comments. I know there's lots and lots of potential for, some great mix-ups. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.